My ex-husband did not want me to do the show because he was afraid of some of the skeletons that he was carrying. It's harder if you don't identify as an alcoholic to make that shift, to make that change, but it's like so much better on this side.
Well, it's becoming such a thing now that people are just quitting drinking based on the fact that it is super unhealthy.
Break comes from loss, not having tragedy, trauma. I don't wish any of that on my children, but I know that I can and I will teach them to be kind. I don't want to have to be sad about my marriage ending for my whole life. And I feel like some people really do that, you know? I don't want to. I want to be able to get myself to a place where I actually love that time. It's okay for things to end.
Welcome to Cake for Dinner. This is not your everyday mom podcast. We laugh, we curse, we tell the truth, and we're here to ditch the perfection culture.
All right, today's guest needs no introduction, but I'm giving her one anyway. Gina Kirschenheiter from the Real Housewives of Orange County is known for her honesty, humor, and showing up real on camera. She's a mom who's lived through very public heartbreak and chose to rebuild anyway. This conversation is about grit, growth, and a lot of heart. I'm so excited to have her here. Gina, welcome to Cake for Dinner.
Thank you for having me, Keisha. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, I'm so excited. So first, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to see the RHOC?
Yes.
Give the people what they want.
This is sparkle. As my one of my girlfriends I'm originally from Long Island, so one of my girlfriends texts me and she goes, 6-carat sparkler, let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. It's gorgeous.
I think that was my favorite text message that I got, wishing me congratulations. It was hysterical.
That's a good one.
He did good.
He did good.
Yeah.
He did good. So before we dig into blended families and all that your life is today, can you give us a little background, like who you were before Bravo and how that sort of came about?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Taking it way back. So it's funny. Well, who I was before Bravo, I like to say is still like the same person I am today because I do approach it very much authentically, but it also was 8 years ago. I've only lived in California for 10 years. So basically I moved to Orange County and then like a year later, this all happened to me. And it really happened to me truly by surprise. I moved to Coto de Casa.
Okay.
My ex-husband's boss had lived in there. I wasn't even aware. I thought, like, I watched the show, but I thought that Coto was like one block. I didn't understand that it was a big town.
Right.
And so now we went to visit his boss's house in Coto de Casa, and I didn't even understand that was the same place.
Okay.
And then I made friends with my good friend. She's still my best friend to this day, Tatiana. And then one day Tatiana was like, oh, do you want to come to this party? It's for Advocare. It was like vitamins. And she's like, Tamara's going to be there. And I was like so confused. I was like, what? And then that kind of unfolded this whole thing where she's like, yeah, like she's friends with Tamara. She's on Housewives. And then she told me she was auditioning for Housewives. And I was like, what's an audition? You know? And she had to do this Skype interview. And I remember I helped her with like picking out her sequin dress and setting up her background because that's like all we knew.
So you had no plans on being on. It was
none at all. And then she got through to the next round, and then she had to fill out an application. And on the application, it said if you know anybody else who you think would be interested, and she put my name and number on it.
What?
And they called me, and like 2 months later, I was on the show.
And she was not, obviously.
And she was not. It was so crazy too. And I love to give her flowers for this because Ta is like such a solid human. They said they were looking for like a dynamic duo. So we were doing it together and advancing together. And at a certain point, I did advance and she did not. Okay. And she was really sad. She cried for like a day for herself because she was bummed about it. And then she was like, no more tears. And the next day she like called me up and she's like, now you need to do this for both of us.
That is a fucking friend.
Right? I know. And I was like, I don't want to do this for both of us. I was like, I literally was doing it also. I was doing it for fun because the experience of auditioning for this crazy wild thing when I just moved to California and knew nothing about this seemed really fun. You know, I was really a housewife at home. I like drove a minivan, you know? So
You're like, I'm the real deal.
yes. So I never thought, there was no part of me ever that thought that I was actually going to get on this show, which I think now in hindsight is part of why I got on this show.
Right.
Because I think that there's a lot of women now that it's like a goal to become a housewife, and they're trying to specifically get on the show, and they're changing themselves and who they are to try to bend to fit a mold that they think they have to fit to try to get on the show. And I just simply didn't even know what was going on. So
you sort of just progressed through that process.
Yeah. It was like a lot of rounds of, there was different interviews with different people. And then I had to go to LA.
At that point, were you like, holy shit, like this is a whole like career job?
No. Even when they offered it to me, I was like, well, you don't say no, but I didn't really understand what I was saying yes to at all.
And at that time you were married.
I was married. It's interesting because at that time, we had only lived here for not that long, but like really we moved here. I moved here pregnant with my third child. And like we moved away from all our family, all our support, and our relationship had pretty much, it just like imploded very fast after we moved here. But we were very committed to each other, and still like there was no part of me that thought I was going to get divorced, even when I said yes to the show. But I will say that there was a part of my ex-husband. My ex-husband did not want me to do the show because he was afraid of some of the skeletons that he was carrying.
Got it.
And
I would imagine that's like a common thing, though.
I'm sure. But like for me, I was kind of in this camp of like, well, this thing came to me and it feels good and I want to move towards it. And I don't want to not take an opportunity because of things that you did.
Right.
And so I made the decision to do it anyway.
Did all those things end up coming out?
Yeah.
What were they?
He had an affair. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, it was prior to filming.
And so you especially were like, I'm not taking this because of your stupid decision.
Yeah, I just felt like I don't want to take an opportunity from myself because of poor choices that you made, And that did end up all coming out, and our marriage did end up ending, and it was horrible actually to like have to go through all of that and like share all of that.
Yeah,
on TV. It was like not a good couple years for me.
So you hear a lot of couples say, some people say that this, Bravo or reality TV in general was like super hard on their marriage. Do you feel like that was like, was it already falling apart, or was that like the thing?
I think honestly, I think I do, because now for the majority of the time I've been on the show now, I've been in my current relationship. And we've gone through ups and downs on the show, but the show certainly has not been a reason for why we've gone through those ups and downs. I think that the show is a microscope. And if your relationship is not solid, it's going to expose those things. It's going to flesh those things out.
You, I feel like watching it back, you've got to you know what I mean? Like
you see it.
I've been in an unhealthy relationship too before, and there's parts of you I think that try and hide it from yourself. Like once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Well, yeah, and I think also not my circumstance. I think my circumstance was different than this, but what I think I see is a lot of it is a lot of women, you know what? They're in their circumstance, in their marriage for certain things. These are very affluent women, but they're not working, So they're married to somebody and things are a certain way in their house and their marriage. Then they take on this job. It's also an opportunity, and their life completely changed. They get so much more control. They get money. They get the ability to make different choices that they didn't necessarily make prior to this opportunity. And then I think they turn around and they look at each other differently. It's the same way that I kind of think about just like if you marry somebody very young and then you get older and then you look back and you're like, but I'm not the same person that I was.
Right.
And I think for a lot of these women, they, 5 years into doing this show, they're not the same person that they were 5 years ago.
Right.
And that changes the dynamic of that marriage and that relationship. And those men certainly don't want the dynamic of that relationship to change because they didn't change.
Right.
So it just creates this natural phase change of life. And then some couples are able to sustain it and, you know, change with it. And like the Gorgas, I think, are a perfect example.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
they've been able to change with it and still love each other and stay rooted in the foundation of their marriage.
The
And
DuBros too.
the DuBros are
amazing,
top notch. Like Heather and Terry, they like love each other so much and they support each other so much. And also like Terry does love, he loves this whole, they both love it, you know?
So they're both in it.
They're
so I guess
both
it's a little
in it.
different.
It's a little different. Yeah. It's like they chose to go and do things that suit both of them. So it works out really well for them.
Right.
I think it would look very differently if Terry didn't also enjoy the limelight and stuff. Yeah.
I think also though, the media puts their own spin on things. So I would imagine that would be hard on a marriage, right? Like some of the narrative around this stuff, it must be tough.
I mean, the media sucks, you know, but it also,
If you're on the wrong side of it.
If you're on the wrong side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're on the wrong side of it. Well, and I think media, then, you know, there's different levels of media. Like, I thought it was lovely when People Magazine featured my engagement, you know, that's like a happy thing. Like, let's celebrate. That's wonderful. But then, you know, I like to say now it's like a lot of the, like content creators, right? When you think about it, they're like the new tabloids.
Right.
Because they could just say whatever they want, and they do say whatever they want. And a lot of it is just for sensational purposes, for clicks, for all of that. And then that feeds one, that feeds another. And then before you know it, there are stories that get traction that have literally zero merit at all, you know, and then that becomes truth. And I think that's a little scary and a little dangerous for a lot of people.
Has anything happened in your time on the show that's been stuff you didn't want out there that came out? Like anything that was like very stressful for you?
There's a lot of like what has happened in my life that would it have been like preferred that the whole world know? Maybe not. But like honestly, I'm okay with it. Like I am actually a very open person, and I actually think having the things that everybody has shit, right? Everybody has shit. And I'm just not the type of person to pretend like I don't. I'm the type of person that's like, look, this is what my shit is. It is what it is.
I think
Take
that's
it or
what
leave
makes
it.
you so likable, like not just on the show, but just in general, because we do all have shit.
Yeah.
That really is the premise of this podcast, because when I wrote my book and I had to sort of get on social media and try and get people to follow me, which is a fucking bizarre.
It's a whole
thing
yeah.
anyway. So I was like, I've got to just like do something that feels authentic, and doing a podcast, interviewing moms, talking about the fact that we do all have shit just seemed to be not just authentic to me, but it seems to be a breath of fresh air for everybody else.
Yeah.
And so I think highlighting reality stars is interesting, because you're on this show, and even though everyone says it's authentic, people are, you know, look amazing, there's glam, there's all these like things. You really roll out there like yourself. It feels as you know, as a viewer, it feels like you woke up and you're just not doing that much different than you would have on a different day.
It's true.
And I think that's what people love, because people are craving that, especially in the world of AI and all this shit.
Right. And the filters and the this and that. And you know, sometimes I think I look back at it and I'm like, maybe I should do a little more, you know? But it's just not in my nature. Like I would rather, honestly, also, you know, when you do film for the show, there is, you know, there has to be natural structure to it. Like we know when they're coming, we know da-da-da-da-da. But like I would rather spend 15 more minutes with my kids helping them with their homework than putting on makeup. And that's just my preference, right? And so I'm just never gonna be that person that you see that's like super glammed all the time. Like I just think that's so annoying. It's so much work. I actually give those ladies credit for like putting in the work that it takes to be glammed all the time. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna do it.
Just not gonna happen.
It's just not gonna happen.
And then are the kids on the show ever?
Yeah, my kids are.
Little.
They're not on a ton. Like, You know what? At the beginning, they're really trying to like explain who you are. And so they'll focus a little bit more on like your family and your home life. And then over years, a lot of it becomes more truly about the dynamic between the women. And people already know who I am now.
Right.
So it's not as much. So usually we'll do like a little cute thing together at some point so that they get in there a little bit.
Do you feel pressure for them to be a certain way or behave?
No, I actually am very much like, you are who you are as well. My kids are good kids, so I don't worry.
Right.
And that's also life. Like there were scenes when they were little, because this is 8 years, and my oldest is 13. So they were little when I started the show.
Good kids or not, you're going to have their kids.
Yes, they have their moments. And they have filmed me having moments with my kids. And I have acted completely the way that I would. Like one time, Nicholas, when he was little, he acted inappropriately. I remember Vicky Gunvalson was at my house and he acted inappropriately. You know, he wanted attention. It's hard for them. They couldn't be on, they couldn't watch TV or anything while because of the sound and da-da-da-da. They want mommy's attention. They're so little. They're like, why is this woman with pearls and this bob having lunch with mommy right now? You know, all this stuff. They were impatient. And so he acted out. And I didn't hesitate at all to like, throw his ass in time out, because that's just what you have. That was the parental need at the moment, you know? And of course they show it, you know, but that's what parenting is, you know? Yes. So I'm okay with that. Now they're older. My kids really are very kind, respectful, decent people. And I'm proud of them for that. So I don't worry about it, but I also don't make them do anything. Like if my kids, even if it's supposed to be a scene where it's like, okay, come and I shouldn't say scene, they don't like that. But even if it's a moment where they're coming to my house and they're like, okay, we're gonna film you and do some at-home reality with the children. And I'm like, okay, let's cook or let's do whatever. If one of my kids don't feel like filming, I'm not going to force them to film. Like, you know.
Are they into it? Are they into the fact that you're a reality star? Like, is that cool or not?
Only like they accept that that's my job.
Okay.
You know, like they know, and I'm very big on telling them like everybody has a job. This is mommy's job. But just because mommy's job is a little bit different and a little bit unique, it doesn't mean that we're better than anybody. It doesn't mean anything. It's just everybody has a job to do.
I love that. I love
so that. I try to explain to them that way. Now, do other kids sometimes at school get a little excited by it, and the other moms get a little excited by it?
I bet more of that.
Yes. But like that's fun and that's nice, you know, and that's okay. But I really try not to play into it too much. And I chose to, like, where I live is like a very like down to earth community. I'm not into the scene stuff. Okay. So I try to give my kids as normal of a lifestyle as I can. And I do feel like they have a pretty normal, well-balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, I would imagine that is so important, especially like in the space that we're in. Yeah. And just like really implementing that is super cool. So you were married when you joined the show. Yes. Looking back, do you feel filming had an impact on your relationship, or did it just magnify what was already there? I guess we answered that. What's your favorite thing about being on the show?
My favorite thing about being on the show. Well, the first thing is it is kind of cool that I've documented a lot of my children growing up through the years. I do think that that's actually, because I'm not the best with, now I'm good with content creation, but I've never been the mom that like does the organized photo shoots with my family and the da-da-da. So it is lovely to kind of get these cute little authentic milestone marker moments with my kids. Yeah. It's nice. So that's my favorite part. And also, like, I have, you know what, it is cool to have the opportunity to have a platform to be able to do other, like, fun things for sure. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's nice to get a hookup, you know? Right. But also, like, you have a powerful platform to be able to do things to give back and help. And that was just not something that, you know, I was just like a mom trying to survive my own life, you know? And now I have this whole other side where you can inspire people and you can do philanthropy and you can...
Anything specific that you're doing or that you've done that you love?
I mean, I think through the years, I've just kind of been able to spotlight a lot of different charities and stuff like that, which is nice. You know, anytime anything comes up, like even through COVID, I remember I was like, okay, let's do like a small business initiative. And I started to go around to like all the small businesses in my local community and like spotlight them, right? And give them a shout out. During, you know, like the fires in LA, you're able to like go on and spotlight. I was able to go on some of the news channels and just continue the conversation to kind of keep that alive, because it's kind of like once people move past that initial, they're gone. We've been doing, at my castmate Emily Simpson sits on the board of the Innocence Project, and we have been doing fundraising for them for years. And then just even very recently, I had. I know him because he owns the bike shop, the local bike shop in San Clemente, and I got 3 bikes from him in my community. His son was, his name is Lauren, and his son was recently diagnosed with brain cancer. And I mean, it's so obviously heartbreaking and horrible, but like when somebody can be like racking their brains, like, I don't know what to do and I need to just get attention and I need a little help and I want some support and I want to try to like help to fundraise for this brain cancer that my son is, suffering with, and they can come to you and look to you to be a person to try to help. I think it's really nice,
and
to
such
be able
a good thing to do with your fame.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it
sure,
feels good.
A restaurant hookup is great.
Yeah. Yes.
But to do something like that with it, gives it purpose and meaning.
It gives it purpose and meaning. Yeah. And it also allows me to show my children that.
Yes.
So it's also, it all rolls down the hill,
I actually wrote a chapter. It's basically the idea is like, can you raise resilient, gritty kids in a comfortable world? Because I grew up with no money.
Yeah.
And I attribute that to like my hustle and my grit, but yet I'm raising kids in a very comfortable world,
it's hard.
Yeah. And one of the things that I learned in my research is that the giving back, like even if you look at really wealthy families, like the Kennedys, they spent years and years giving back, being in the giving space. And apparently that is one of the big things that actually teaches kids that, so you don't have to my point, you don't have to raise kids and give them nothing.
Right.
In order to become resilient.
You don't have to create circumstantial grit, right? You don't need to. Grit comes from loss, not having tragedy, trauma. I don't wish any of that on my children, but I know that I can and I will teach them to be kind.
Yes.
And I think that if they're not going to be gritty because life has, I got the grit part and I climbed my way out to be able to give them comfort. I'm actually really happy that my children get to avoid maybe learning the grit part, but my children will be kind.
Yes.
And I'll send
love
them
that
into the world.
It really has been something that is really occupied a lot of time in my mind as I was raising my kids, right? Because when you look at your childhood, whatever the things are that you value, you kind of want to replicate them.
Yeah.
But I think supplementing the struggle with kindness, right? And compassion.
Yeah, empathy. Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah. And I think that my kids have a strong thread of that. And there's nothing I can do about the fact that they do have a beautiful, comfortable life. They still live in Orange County. I mean, it's lovely here. It's 75 and sunny every day.
It is what it is.
They're really, their struggles are minimal, but I take every opportunity that I can to, what also helps to point out always the people that are struggling, so that they're aware that they're not, that you live in this bubble, but there's other people that are not.
Right.
And I think it's important to constantly point that out,
Right. And you're modeling that, right? By having things, but giving back.
Yeah. And I mean, don't spoil them too much, right?
Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard. It's really hard.
It is also hard when you come from less.
I know. Yes.
Because there's, I was literally talking to somebody yesterday about that when my twins turned 16. I was so excited to buy them a car because I never got a car. I didn't have a car till I was a pharmaceutical rep in my 20s.
Okay, yeah.
So I was so excited, but like literally when I was there, I was like, this is a fucking bad idea. Like they've earned none of this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I like couldn't help myself. It was it was such a moment. It was almost like more for me.
Yeah. You also, what are you going to do? You can't beat yourself up about,
Yeah, I bought them. Little
I
matching
support you.
Audis.
I support you.
Well, thank you for that. So what could you live without as it relates to reality TV?
What could I live without? I mean, I don't really know. Do you mean what do you mean by that specifically?
Like, what don't you like?
What don't I like about it?
That was a nice way of saying that. What could you live without?
Yeah. Well, okay, I will say on my particular show, I could definitely live without the drama, but then I don't think anyone would watch. Yes, yes. It is hard, and I'll tell you, it's
It
harder.
gets a little extra sometimes.
It definitely gets a little extra. I'm not really that dramatic or fiery of a character on there. I feel
and
like
is that fine with them?
Yeah, they really are. Honestly, I can tell you from the beginning, they've only ever asked me to be myself.
Yeah, because you don't really get down deep into that part of it.
No, because it's not who I am. I really am not. I'm by nature not. I don't go out of my way to have conflict at all. And I am more of a peacemaker type of person, but I'm not a pushover.
Right.
So,
but all of that comes across.
Yeah. So if you really push me, you'll get what you were looking for, but I try not to, and I generally get along with everybody. So this is actually the first time that I was in this, and I think I was naive going into it. I still have my best friends from elementary school. Right. We just went to the Bahamas last year to celebrate our 40th birthdays. We are the most supportive group of women you could have. And then I have another incredible group of women here in Orange County that I found. And they've been my friends the whole time, So I don't do that.
So you don't have big falling outs in general.
With my friends. Yes.
Right.
But then I have also managed to establish amazing relationships on this show too. So I just am who I am, whether, I'm on the show or off the show, and it just is what it is. But I could definitely do without some of the fighting. It's actually getting more challenging as I get through it, because even some of the people that I butted heads with when I first got on the show, I actually really have grown to love.
Like who?
Like Shannon.
Yeah.
Like Shannon. I could not stand her when I first got on the show, and now I really adore her. And I have almost like protective of Shannon, because we've worked through a lot of stuff. She's been through a lot, and we found very common ground, and we care about each other. So it's actually getting a little bit harder in the more recent years.
I was wondering that. Actually, I'm going all out of order, so who cares? But I was out the other night for a girlfriend's birthday party. And a lot of times people say, who's your next guest? And, I said, you. And I got two primary comments. One, oh my God, I love her. She's so real. And two, please ask her about Emily. And so people love your friendship.
Yeah.
Is it as real as it looks?
It's more real. It's more real in real life. It's funny to me because I think it's so lovely. It's one of my favorite things to hear is that people love our friendship, because I think it's really cool that people can spot an authentic friendship.
Yeah. One lady was like, if it's not, don't tell me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
No, and it literally is. I talk to Emily every day of my life. She's literally my best friend. I'm going to Paris with her on Wednesday to celebrate her 50th birthday. I see her probably at least once a week. We'll get caught, but we don't put it on because we look homeless and we're on the couch drinking coffee and talking shit about everybody.
Your TikToks are
yeah, I know we do. We love to do TikToks together. I make her do them. It's my favorite thing.
The recent one with the birthday cake and you put the number backwards.
I know. I'm just so dumb. And I was like, oh my God, Emily, it's the numbers backwards. I'm like, whatever, we're rolling with it.
We're rolling with it.
Yeah, I know. But I truly love her. Our friendship is one of the best things to come out of this whole experience.
Did it grow out of her being there for you through some of your tough stuff? How?
I think for sure. I think that's how all relationships do develop, right? But I think that we also started at the same time. Right? So we were kind of trauma bonded,
Yeah.
And then we know so much about each other. I've been to Ohio and stayed with her sister and brought my daughter there. And we're just so close. We know everything about each other, and we trust each other deeply, and we make each other laugh, and it's just
You
such
guys
an
are funny.
easy friendship. Yeah, and they don't even show a lot of like
I don't feel like they
our
show enough of her
ridiculousness.
husband. Like I think
Oh,
he's,
Shane, I know,
I
he's
love
so
him.
great.
Like,
I
he's
know.
super funny. I feel like he's like dry humor, but he's very funny.
And he's a very good dad. He's a very good dad. And I think that they, through the years, I was happy to see, because Shane, I think at the beginning, he got like a bad rap.
Oh,
but
totally.
but
He's a
that's
good
because-
example of like the perception just being a little off, and then
Totally.
but then it just happens.
Yes, and also because a lot of time, you know, the husbands don't really want to do it. So that's like a example of like what happens if you're resistant to the whole thing. I think he was just resistant to it. And he was, you know, so he was angry when he had to film because he didn't want to be there and he didn't want to be doing it.
And
but
you
then
could
all
see
you're
that.
showing is I'm an asshole. And then that's what comes out. But that's not
Right.
really who he is, you know? So I was very pleased to see over the years people appreciating his personality, but also like their relationship, because I think they
Yes.
do a really good job of depicting a true marriage.
Yes.
Like it's not all
Well, and they've been through
beautiful.
stuff with their kids,
Yes,
and they're but I also think that's where, you know, social media also gets a bad rap. But I do think, especially in a scenario like that, it kind of highlights some of the real stuff, like your friendship with Emily, their relationship.
Yes.
It gives you a little add-on.
Totally.
As a viewer,
Yes, you
know?
can see more into like our actual lives. And yeah, I like having social media because I feel like I can be more expressive about like who I really am on there. And it's like not, you know, like manipulated or edited. And it's not in relationship to other people. It's just who I am.
Who you are.
So that's why I do like doing the social media stuff and it's fun, you know?
It is fun. Yeah, when I first got into this, it was a little bit tough for me.
Yeah,
but
it's scary.
I think also when you're grounded in your why, like for me, I'm really trying to help women feel seen.
Yeah.
So if you want to do anything on a mass scale, it's just the way it goes. You know, I
Well,
can't just
yeah, and like if you want to help women feel seen, the first thing that you have to do is be seen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's a leap though if you're
Yeah,
somebody
it
who's
is.
not. I can't
For
even
sure.
imagine your whole life being filmed.
No, I know it's weird. It is weird. But in so many ways, it was helpful for me because also it was very cathartic. Like I found
way?
that I'm not one to just like It's odd because I don't really like the attention on me so much. I'm not really that kind of person. But what I found is like, if you sit me down in a chair and you ask me questions, I'll be very honest about things.
Right.
And so for me, my interviews were very cathartic, getting through a lot of like my trauma in my life because I talked about it for so long and I was able to like really think about things.
Meaning
and,
your marriage.
yeah, just like all of that. Yeah. And being able to like,
Infidelity.
yeah, and being able to talk it
I
out.
can't imagine going through that kind of stuff and it just being like blasted
Yeah,
on
it
TV. Like,
sucks.
that is just
But
wild.
you know what? When you go through it's your world is still your world, and that's your
Right.
whole world. And when something like that happens, everybody knows, you know?
Right.
So really, it's not like your
Yeah,
whole
that's
world
true.
doesn't know. The
Yeah.
whole world, your world is just smaller than
Right.
mine. You
and
know?
you're not thinking about somebody like in Tennessee watching you on TV.
What do I
Right,
care?
right.
Yeah, it honestly, like, it happens to a lot of people. It's not like
Right.
this is like a new thing.
If anything, you get to kind of be the bounce back story, right? That like
Well,
you can
yeah,
still
that's what I love
move
about
forward.
it. Yes, and also like I love that that really I like to focus on the fact that my ex and I get along so well.
Right, which is wild because so
Right.
that was a bumpy time, right?
Yeah,
so,
of course. Yeah, most divorces are. You know,
I actually just
So,
interviewed a divorce attorney last week and yes, most divorces are.
I mean, yeah.
But yours was especially, there was some legal stuff. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
and
there-
all that played out on TV.
Yeah, it wasn't wonderful, but we got through it, and we never scrapped over anything. That was very helpful, like financially or anything
Yeah.
like that. That's really helpful because a lot of people
sure.
get very stuck in there, you know. But the thing is, what we went through, the things that we went through, the outcomes, like what I like to stress is that like with my children specifically, which we have not had to communicate this to them yet because they just haven't been of age where we had to do
Right.
this. And all they know is that their parents get along so great and we're still all family. And when the time comes that we do have to have these discussions, it's going to be framed in the way of what it actually is, which is mom did what she had to do. She stood up for herself. And
was he supportive of that?
No.
I mean, that had to have been
no, of course not. But I think ultimately everything landed where it was supposed to. And he was very, he accepted responsibility.
I can think that's more of what I'm getting at, because it seemed as though he did take accountability.
He did. And that's why a huge part of why you have to have two people in it, right? And that's a huge part of why we do get along so well, because he really works on himself and he really took accountability for that. And he really is, you know what? I don't want to say he's a different person, because he is actually the person that I always knew he was. But you know that sometimes people get caught and they struggle.
Yep.
I don't think that struggle should identify them.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow that to identify this person that I've known since college, that I know is not a horrible person, that is the father of my children.
Right.
You know, and I think that it's okay to have a struggle, and then as long as it's what you do with it. That's what I always tell my kids, right?
Yeah, and anyways, once it is age appropriate for them to kind of know the details, I don't know. I don't think kids learn a ton from everything just being buttoned up, right? So it's like, these things happened, and look what we did with it.
Right.
And look,
look at how we responded to it.
Right.
That's more important. Like I try, even
and that's
now,
a more valuable lesson.
I teach
anyway.
my kids. It's not about the thing that you do, it's about how you respond to the thing that you did. And that's really important, because the bottom line is everybody fucks up.
And they're going to fuck up.
And so they're going to fuck up. And I need them to understand, okay, when you're in that moment, it's go time. Now it's how am I going to respond to this? How am I going to get myself back on track? And you know, you either do or you don't. And that's really the critical point right there. And I think that, you know, my ex responded very well. I think that, you know, I'm not free of bad choices and decisions either.
Right.
And I think I've responded during those times very well myself and gotten myself to where I need to be and what I need to do in order to make myself better. Personal growth.
Yes.
Is important.
Yeah, I really love that. So much happened all at once. Obviously, the reality TV, the personal change in motherhood. Tell me a little bit. I saw the other day that you posted 5 years sober, alcohol free.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that journey and kind of what it means to you.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I don't really talk about it a ton.
Yeah, I wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah.
I actually saw that. Was that yesterday or the day before? I added it to the card when I saw that.
Yeah, and it's not that I'm not comfortable talking about it. It's just, you know, everybody kind of has like their things. And but it is like a pretty significant major shift in my life. Like, so that's the only reason why I do like to take time to spotlight it and highlight it, because I feel like it's a change that I made in my life that I think has created such a positive shift in my life. And so like I like to tell people that, because it's like I know there's a lot of people that are always like on that bubble of like I think it's getting in my way. Like I'm not an alcoholic, right? So it's harder if you don't identify as an alcoholic to make that shift, to make that change. But it's like so much better on this side.
Well, it's becoming almost, dare I say, trendy. I am a recovering alcoholic and identify that way. So for me, that is just what it is. But, you know, it's becoming such a thing now that people are just quitting drinking based on the fact that it is super unhealthy. So maybe they didn't have all these terrible consequences, but they're like looking at it and saying, hey, this isn't a great idea. And then I think the result of that is so positive.
Yes. Right. That you want to stay in it. And I think for me, just because you're not an alcoholic doesn't mean that alcohol wasn't significantly getting in your way and wasn't. And let's be honest, like it is.
If that's Emily, you can answer it.
It's not scam likely 3,000 times a day, you know?
Exactly.
This is why I like to kind of be clear about these things too. Why I don't, because I could be wrong. This is just my personal perspective. Why I don't identify as an alcoholic is because I believe that, you know, alcoholics, it truly is a disease and it truly is one day at a time. And I think every day that a true alcoholic does not drink I have so much respect for that. So it's almost like I have too much because that's not what it is for me. Like it's so easy for me not to drink.
Right.
And so I feel like it's almost would be disrespectful for me to identify as something that I'm not.
Right.
So
That hasn't been an uphill. Right.
Right.
I respect that.
So I don't want,
Why
I'm
did you
careful with
quit?
that. Because it was becoming bad and it was getting more control of me than I had of it.
Right.
And that is the reality of it. And I was making poor choices. I was using it to self-medicate. I was using it to avoid having to process some of the trauma that I had been through. I didn't even realize that until after I stopped drinking. And then I actually, because after you stop drinking, that's really when then the work kind of begins, because then you actually have to deal with because the problem for me wasn't alcohol.
Right. Well, the problem's never alcohol.
Right.
The solution,
Yes,
albeit a bad one, the solution is alcohol. So the problem, people don't really get that. I think when you stop drinking, then it should kind of get worse before it gets better.
It does.
Yeah,
because then you got to face it all, and then you got to walk through it without making it go away.
And had you made a declaration like I'm not drinking, so then you couldn't turn back?
I did, because I got scared because of the actual alcohol. I didn't realize when I was doing it any of this. Like I didn't realize I thought I had dealt with a lot of the stuff. Like I thought I had walked through a lot of it. I didn't even realize how caught up I still was, or like held back I was by like some of the stuff that I just was, because I basically I was gritty. So I got myself to that place where, you put that smile on your face and you go out and you do it and you keep swinging that bat and it'll be okay. But you really have to deal with your shit,
Yes.
And so I stopped drinking because, I mean, this is being very honest, because I think it's important to be honest. There was behaviors that I was displaying that I did not like. Like at the end of the night when we would go to dinner, Travis and I, but then I'd come home and then he's just like, okay, let's watch a movie and then let's go to bed. But I would have to have a glass of wine, right? And
he's like, the night's over.
Yes, and he's so non-judgmental that he wasn't even, but like I didn't like that. Like, why do I feel like I have to? And then I would, in the past, I would have, just like everybody else, let's do dry January. Next week, I'm not going to drink. And it would be easier.
Yeah.
And then I got to this space where I was like, okay, I'm not going to drink tomorrow. But then I could never not do it.
Right.
And that actually really scared me, because then I really felt, oh, this has more control of me than I have of it. And I just didn't like that. I just don't like the thought of anyone having more control of me or anything having more control of me than I have of it.
So you just bowed out.
So I just said, no more. And at first I didn't say I'm never drinking again. That was comfortable to me. I felt like that was too much, I was
It's a line in the sand.
It's a big commitment. I'm not ready to marry you. I'm just dating you, And then the first year is hard. It's hard because you spend a lot of time dealing with things. Things come up and you just can't turn it off. You have to, but then the beautiful thing about it is you can't turn it off. And so then it just has to come, and it has to come, and it has to come. And that's truly how then you process things. And then you get this amazing opportunity to let it fucking go.
Yeah, which you wouldn't have got otherwise. I actually heard, I think it's Glennon Doyle. Have you heard of her? She's an author. You would love her stuff. But anyway, she calls it that life is brutal. So it's brutal and beautiful. And the thing about alcohol is that you can turn off the brutal, but you're also turning off the beautiful, right?
You are.
So you don't just get to numb half of it.
Right.
Yeah. So you're really missing out on a lot of stuff, even if the stuff presents as difficult. Like I've been through some really tough stuff this year, but getting through it was hard, but getting to the other side of it is amazing.
It's so
and
nice.
I would miss out on all of that. You know
and
what
I
mean?
don't want to carry things through life.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like I look at people and I feel so sad for them, because I'm like, why are you carrying this with you? Like I don't want to have to be sad about my marriage ending for my whole life. And I feel like some people really do that. I don't want to. I want to be able to get myself to a place where I actually love that time. And then it's okay for things to end. It's okay for you to be like, well, we were in college and now it turns out we weren't meant to be life partners, but we were meant to be parents together.
Right.
And we have this opportunity to still be family. It's always weird because I know this is kind of weird, but I refer my ex-husband, I feel like is like my brother. And then his wife is like my sister-in-law. Yeah. That's how I feel.
It makes odd sense to me.
Yeah,
because I feel like they can't just be. Sorry. Because they can't just be these people. Like now you're sharing children, so it's like they're family.
They're family. Yeah. Yes, and it just feels
what a
better
great way
to
to raise kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, truly, I commend you for that.
Yeah,
I sit down with a lot of women, some of whom are divorced, and not everybody has that experience, right? I also, my first husband passed away, and I could remember probably like a year into it, I literally remember thinking, I don't want my whole life to be defined by this. Like it was sad, it was terrible. We had a rowdy divorce. I didn't want my whole life to be defined as that, you know? And there really is a moment where you have to make a conscious decision to go the other way.
Right.
Yeah,
totally.
Which isn't easy because you're angry and there's a bunch of feelings and a bunch of stuff, and raising kids isn't easy even with a happy spouse.
No. You know? So it's like much easier just to drown in that for sure. Yeah. Than it is to climb your way out of it. But it's so much better if you climb your way out of it, you know? Yeah. I mean, it's not fun down there.
It is not fun down there at all. So you're now blending families and building a life with your partner.
Yes.
Fiance, I guess we say now. What has that transition been like, and what has surprised you the most about blending families?
So I have to be honest, the blending of our actual family happened really easily, really
what
organically.
Are the ages
because they were all the same age. So it is actually very easy. So it's actually funny because is it right now? Like right now, they are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Stop it.
And then there's another time during the year.
Wait, so he has 1.
He has 3 and I have 3.
Oh, you're saying 2 of them are each, or tell me the ages.
Those are their ages. They're 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They go straight in a shoot.
There's 6.
So there's 6 kids. And then there's another portion during the year that their ages line up. So there'll be 2 10-year-olds,
right,
2 12-year-olds, and 2 14-year-olds.
And they get along.
They get along so well. Like they love each other. They're best friends. Like when I go to my stepson's classroom, like his back to school night, and it's like, you write, this is just the last time. And it's like, you know, like a blinded answer. And it's like, who's your best friend? Mm-hmm. And he writes Luca, which is my son. Like they're literally best friends. We call them double trouble. Our middle daughters are exactly the same age. They're obsessed with each other. And then my oldest stepdaughter, she's just like such a diamond kid, you know, like she's I'm so happy that she's like the leader of the pack. So our 2 oldest are boy and girl, but it's like no matter who is hanging out with who, they're happy and they get along better with each other than they
go to
their
the same
own.
schools?
They all go to the same schools. I live like down the block from my ex.
Okay.
So even when my kids, it's not my time, they're always
if they
popping up all the time. And and then like we're really like yesterday was my daughter's cheer competition. Mm-hmm. So like I took her because obviously like he was going to Vegas for work and it was just easier for me to get her there. But then so Matt wasn't home, and then Britt, his wife, she had my other kids, and then she also took Joseph so that he wouldn't have to go to the cheer comp. So like and then sometimes like Britt has kids from a previous marriage. Like sometimes I'll have her kids over. Like we're really a unit. That's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. And then
what do you think the magic, because I do think there's people listening that don't have that experience. Like what do you think the magic is there? Like, because that's 4 adults that have made a decision to really do that.
Yes, for sure. I think it really helped that Britt and I formed our own relationship together. Like we genuinely enjoy each other, and we look at it like instead of, because I think it's hard because immediately when you get divorced and then if somebody starts dating somebody, the instinct is to look at it like a threat.
Sure.
That you want to make that person your best friend.
Yes.
That's really what you want to do. And even if it's not that way at first, if that's the goal, and so you operate that way, eventually you really do find.
Yeah, because they're raising your kids.
They're raising your
part-time.
kids.
Yes.
Half of the time. And the better you are to that person, the better they're going to be to your kids.
Yeah, it's like teachers. I'm always super nice.
Yes, I'm writing that check at Christmas and the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, you're wanting that person that is responsible for the care of your child to love your children genuinely. And if you love that person and you have a connection with that person, it's just more, the odds go up that they're going to be more loving to your kids. That's really what you want, right?
Yes.
And so like the stronger that relationship is, the better. Plus, I just think it's easier too, because then it's less messy, because then you can go directly to that person. So then you're not perceived as a threat, right? Because you are this person's ex-partner. So like the instinct for both sides is to perceive it as a threat, and it's wrong. It's wrong. You know, you need to really put down the weapons and be like, no. And like, it helps when you truly are over the person. It helps when you find your partner, and it helps when, honestly, I always give flowers to Travis and to Britt, because both of them from the beginning were very much put the kids first kind of people. And it's just so helpful to find people that really are on board for this kind of dynamic.
It's
you know?
wonderful.
Yeah.
Travis seems, I mean, again, as a viewer, you're just kind of coming up with your own ideas, but he just seems calm and steady.
He is. He's so calm and steady. And I'm like a wackadoodle. So like he is.
But you need calm and steady, and he probably thinks you're a whole lot of fun.
He does. He really loves me. Yeah, he just, yes. And he is. That's who he is in my life. Like, he's very much a rock, you know, and I think stability, and he is very predictable. And I love that.
There's nothing like better as a single mom with children than finding that guy.
Yeah. And you know what the best is? He loves my children. He really, really loves my children.
It just doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't. I say that every day. Even when my husband drives me nuts, or he's like chewing loud or something, you know, all the things. They annoy.
Because he's annoying.
Yeah, because
they're all annoying.
They're annoying as shit, you know? And I always try to remind myself how much he loves my kids. Yeah. And he saved us. Yeah. I mean, it's different raising kids all by yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
It is horrible.
Yeah. And
it's hard.
Yes.
And
for any single moms out there, there's hope.
There is. Yeah. And you're doing a great job. It's very difficult, you know, and to not have that, even just to not have as a single mom, because, you know, we've done it, to not have that companionship even, you know, something that makes you happy at the end of the night once you did all the things, the 37,000 things that you have to do for the day for everybody else. And then, you know, you go into bed. Alone. It's lovely to go in with someone. Yeah. Totally. You go in alone. And
just to see somebody, just to have somebody cheer you along the journey, you know,
and
there's
make you
a
feel
big difference.
Beautiful, and make you feel valued, and, you know, make you feel your worth, you know. And you shouldn't have to have it. You know, I'm a feminist. You shouldn't need a man to make you feel your worth, but it's nice to have that, you know, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think I do the same thing for him, you know?
Yeah. It's partnership. I mean, in general, I think we're largely made for partnership, right? So feminist or not, I think having a partner that adores you and sees you
is great.
Right? And parenting isn't always easy. So doing it with somebody, period, is easier.
Yes. Look, just logistically.
Logistically. Yeah. So when you zoom out on everything you've lived through so publicly, what do you think it's taught you about motherhood and resilience?
Oh my gosh, that's a big question, a loaded question. I feel like
you can break it down if you want.
What has it taught me? Well, it has taught me that I am resilient. I think it has been good for my confidence. As much as you would think that seeing yourself go through such terrible stuff would be kind of like terrible to watch, it is, but like I really have been able to dig myself out and move forward and move on from it. And so it's taught me that like resilience is real, and I am resilient.
I love that.
And I'm proud of that. I am proud of that.
Yes, you should be, because it gives you a barometer too, right? When you go through anything in life, you can sort of look back on what you've been through already to sort of coach yourself.
Yeah. And then it gives you like a notch in your belt where now I feel like, okay, anything else that comes along my way, I'm going to be okay.
I can do it.
I can do it, you know?
Yes.
And I think it is important to kind of have that as a woman, that
I think
feeling.
too, the reality show, similar to my writing the book, is like, it does document, right? Like I think I've been through a lot and I know that, right? But when I wrote it down and now I'm editing it, I am proud of myself.
You should be.
And
yeah,
I think
it's a big accomplishment.
thank you. I think the documenting it in any way, whether it be on TV or on paper, it does highlight it for you, because I do think women in general, we rise, right? Women rise.
Yeah.
We're gonna rise for our kids. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think we take a lot of time to acknowledge that within ourselves, because I think there's a part of being a woman that you feel like you're just supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, what was the alternative?
Well, you don't have an alternative.
Right.
There's no alternative. Yes. So
Right.
you either sink or swim.
Either sink or swim. But I don't think we spend a lot of time celebrating the swim.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't have time for that.
Yes.
We don't have time for that. But no, I think it's important. I think that you should.
I think that's kind of where community and girlfriends come in.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. Having the right community, the right girlfriends, and also loving yourself. I'm a big proponent of self-love. Like, I really am. I love myself. I think it's okay that I love myself. I encourage other women to love themselves.
I think that's what comes across. I think that's why you're able to be authentic, because if you don't love yourself, you sort of are trying shit on. You need to show up as somebody else, maybe.
Yes, and hide everything or feel like you need to be perfect and feel like I don't feel that way. Like,
is that just innate in you, or did you?
You know what? I do feel like that is something that is innate. I kind of do, but I do think that also women can get there, you know? Yeah. And so that's why I like to preach it, and I like to show that I don't give a shit. I really don't, because I think it's important to show that. It gives women
permission. I do notice sometimes my girlfriend said something the other night to me. She was like, "Oh, this feels so fucking free," because I just sort of lead with that, I guess. Like, just fuck it. And we're all out here doing our best.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And for her, it's like she clings on to that, and it feels refreshing to her. So I do think when it's natural to you, it's wonderful to put it out there, because it just gives women permission to sort of let their hair down.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Yes. And I think a lot of it is maybe like how you were raised too.
Yeah.
I like to give my parents a lot of praise, because I have phenomenal parents. I grew up in a home where, and I think that's part of it's your foundation, right?
Yes.
Just like everything else, if you were built, and this is also what I think the difference is too, because it's like, stuff happens to everybody, but I was built with a very strong foundation. So I was able to handle things and be resilient. I think people who aren't built with that natural foundation, when their shit hits them, it's harder for them to recover.
Yes.
But then if they do, they should be even more proud of themselves.
Yes.
Right? We were like a step ahead, because we came from, my father told me, I'm like, Dad, stop with how much he tells me he loves me and how beautiful I am.
Mine too.
It's so gross, but I love him so much. Yeah. You know, like,
my
Dad,
mom's
stop.
always like, "You are the best. You're amazing."
Oh my God, every day of my life. How much? I know, Sue. Thank you. You're proud of me. I get it. I'm 41. Like, you don't have to tell me that every time I'm on the phone.
But that shit builds you right.
Yes, it really does.
When I first started going to AA meetings, I used to think like, this is fucking embarrassing. Like, what am I going to lead with? I have an amazing family. Like, people are in here telling all these like
couldn't have been cut from a better
hard
cloth.
lives.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, when I picked up my 1-year medallion, I'll just tell you this real quick. My mom brought 100 homemade cupcakes.
Oh my God.
I was
Mom.
horrified. I'm like, Mom, like, there's nothing worse that says like, I don't fit in here.
Right. Than your mom bringing you home baked goods.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, so bad. But I do think you're right, because I've been through a lot of shit, and I think my foundation is sturdy.
Yeah. You know? I always refer to them as my North Star, you know? So it's like when stuff goes really bad, but you can always look up and find your North Star. It makes it easier to find your way out of it. And a lot of people don't have that. They don't. You know?
The girls, so I coach teenagers, and in large part, they're overcoming from substances or mental health or just being teenagers, right? So it's a tough time.
Yeah.
I always tell the girls that have an addiction, like, you should be measured different. You should be getting an award. Like there's nothing easier than just growing up in a great childhood and going to college and having an easy life.
Right.
Like somebody who is truly overcoming something.
Yeah.
Like should be celebrated.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much harder to get to hear if your
mountain is way steeper.
And
Yeah, I had a
climate-
hill, you know? Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I do believe in that. And so I think that has to do, I think that's what created a very strong sense of confidence in me.
Yes.
And my mom never, you know, she just never harped on aesthetics, you know, like she
Right.
wanted to like look nice, but I remember my mom is very big chested, right? And
Yes.
so I remember
Sue.
she just is, she's going to kill me for this, but we would go into the dressing room because I would always go shopping with her. She always, you know, want me to help her pick it. And like, it would be comical because so many of the tops would not fit her. But instead of my mom ever looking in the mirror and saying anything negative about her body, we would just die laughing. Like we would just think it was the most hysterical thing. And like, we're like, they just need to change their clothes, you know? Like who do they think they're dressed in these clothes for? And we would just laugh and laugh and laugh. So I think that is something as an adult that from time to time I look back at and I'm like, I think that's a source of why I don't have
That might have been Sue's best move ever.
Sue's best work,
seriously,
right?
if you
Something's
really-
not great, you just laugh. It's funny. It doesn't have to be.
Well, and also,
I'm not
she
right.
She could have
or-
led right. I'm
Yes,
not right because
I'm not right,
we're all
yes.
learning watching that.
Right, and I just learned to laugh and find a different top. You know,
and just to be okay with.
Yes,
this
it's okay.
is me.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's nothing
The
wrong
store
with
must have
me.
fucked up
yeah,
tops.
the stores have fucked up tops. We need to go to the store that doesn't have the fucked up tops. Like, yes, it was just not a thing. Like, she never she always, you know, like never knew exactly. It wasn't like a glam bar or anything like that. But she never made it make her feel bad.
Gosh.
Yeah, and I never even realized that
And
until I
she
got older.
probably wasn't even purposefully like
Not
trying
at
to parent.
all. Not at all,
You
I
know?
promise you. She was just trying to find a top that fit her bust.
But
you
that,
know?
right.
Yes.
But that's the thing as a parent, you know, it's like we're people.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to make mistakes. And in my first chapter of the book, it's called Baggage Claim. And it's basically like you show up to this parenting thing, you're not empty handed.
Right,
We've
yeah,
got good shit, bad
yeah.
shit. Sue brought that.
Yeah.
Sue probably brought some other shit, you
Yeah.
know? And if you're brave enough to look under the hood and to sort of like make peace with yourself,
Yeah.
parenting is a different game.
It is.
You know,
Yes.
and you're bringing something different to
Yeah.
it. She naturally had that, which is so special.
Yeah.
And obviously gave it to you, which is like,
yeah, which is great because now I give it to my daughter. My daughter,
Yes.
you know, she's only 11, but I promise you, she has no. Actually, I'm like, you might need some confidence issues. Like, we're like, this is getting a little out of control. Like,
I have a
yes,
12-year-old with the
yes.
exact scenario.
She does not care.
Yeah.
Like, she is who she is, and she is. It's a beautiful thing actually to watch.
Yeah.
Like a young girl, like just be so comfortable with who they are.
Yeah, I think they're harder to raise sometimes. Like
yeah.
when my daughter was young, I took her to a therapist at some point, and I was thinking, shit, you know, what are we working with here?
Yeah.
And the lady said, I have good news and bad news. She said, the bad news is she's gonna be a little tough to raise. You know, this is not gonna be easy here. But the good news is she's never gonna be talked into anything she doesn't want to do. This kid is never gonna fall victim to peer pressure.
Yeah.
She's 19 today, and I can tell you that's the realest, truest thing anybody ever told me.
That's a beautiful thing.
She's been hell on wheels to raise. You know, 15, 16 was wild.
Yeah.
But she's doing what she wants to do, and
Right.
nobody has talked her into anything. And I love that
That's
for her.
wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
She's going to be a powerhouse as a woman. But, you know, strong women are often difficult to raise.
Yeah, I mean, because
you
they
don't
are
just
who they
get
are from
there.
a very young age.
Right.
Yes.
I had to try to remind myself of that a few times
Well,
along the journey.
Well, because it's your problem, right? Because you're trying to survive parenting that child.
Right.
Yeah, which is not. It's not easy. Yes.
not easy.
Yeah.
So, if anything, to wrap up, what do you hope people take away from, I think, your, I don't want to say character, but your role on the show? What do you hope to impart on the viewers?
I guess, like, honestly, if people, I think they do connect with me because I am not afraid to be like my authentic self. And I think if anybody can just take away from me that it's okay for them to be whoever they are, I would be a very happy person. You know, if that's something that I could contribute to this world of reality, a little more realness in reality television, I think that's a beautiful thing. You know, I just think that everybody is their own person. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody, you know, walks their own life and their own walk. And I think that that's, if people understand that that's okay and that they shouldn't be afraid to do that and that they are valuable and that it is their journey and they are who they are. Like, I think all of that stuff is so great. Like, I didn't intend to do that at all, but I just kind of see that I see that people are taking that away. Right. And so, and I like that. That actually makes me feel very,
it should,
proud, you know, that if that's the thing that they do take away, I think that's really cool. Yeah.
And for those out there who are living under a rock and don't love Bravo as much as me, where can people find you?
You could find me. All my social media channels are at Gina Kirschenheiter. So I'm sorry for that, but it should pop up pretty quick when you type it in. And we air on BravoTV.com and Peacock.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready to start soon, aren't you?
We are getting ready to start soon. Yes.
Awesome.
So stay tuned. You'll see us this summer fresh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Super fun. And I just love to highlight real women. So this is wonderful.
No, I had a blast, Keisha. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.